Okay, everybody ready? Yeah? Well, I didn't bring my guitar, so it's no concert yet, but we can arrange that later on this year. So, first of all, welcome to everybody. I'm extremely happy to see all of you here. Because, like I said, it's an inclusive community event. You saw the Dean's Cabinet was waiting for you, so it's one of my aims as well for this school that we come closer, especially after COVID-19, that we see each other's energy, that we see that we are a community you can build on, okay? And that's the reason why we have a town hall today as well. As many of you also asked me, what are you going to do in your first 90 days? Of course, we're not a real corporation, but it does apply to a business school as well. So today, what I'll present, I call it the Dean's Roadmap. Don't take it too serious in terms of like, I'm going to watch you every day now, seeing whether you follow the map. It's not that kind of map. It's more an overview of what we've been doing the last 3 months, what I've learned here, what we've been telling and trying to achieve. There's certain initiatives that I will introduce as well. But it's really about the idea of DMSB as a community, an identity of the DMSB that I would like to launch and introduce to all of you. Because I feel this is what this school needs. It's a great school, but we can do a few more things that will bring us up to a level that many of you, I know, aspire, okay? But before we start this, we have a guest of honor, I would say. Emery, if you want to come up.
Thank you.
So I wanted to invite Emery because we didn't give him a real send-off yet. And we knew that all of you were going to show up, so we wanted you to be here to thank him, because he's been keeping the ship afloat, and even more than just keeping it afloat, just steering it towards the future for 2 years. No one expected when you started it was going to be 2 years. All the stories that I hear were, oh, 3 months, oh no, 6 months, oh wait, there's going to be an extra year. But you've done amazingly well, and I want to thank you for bringing the ship to where it is now, so that I can work with it. I'm very grateful for you. I think everyone is grateful for you as well, to you as well, that you were willing to take up the job, because don't underestimate the job. It's a tough one, yeah? You got people, everyone is a good advisor, but you have to juggle it, as Emery knows. So I wanted to give you a gift as well, and Vicky asked whether you wanted to open it and show it to everyone, because apparently, so would that be okay?
Vicky asked, you know.
Yeah, I know, we have to do it, so.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Emery Trahan, Professor of Finance here at McKim.
I thought everyone knows you, but he's proud of being a faculty again, no? So.
Beautiful. I won't open it all the way.
Well, it says, it has the Northeastern logo on it, very big. So Vicky thought it was great. If you sit on the porch, it gets a little bit cold. You just steer towards. There. So we just want to make sure you never forget about us, yeah?
I need it in this weather, too.
Yeah, I know.
Well, thank you.
Okay, Emery, again, thank you. So let's give him a big hand, please. So as you've noticed, at the end, we will have a reception, light lunch reception, so do make sure you talk to the man, yeah? Share a drink. Okay, so like I just mentioned, Emery, you brought the ship to safe harbor. Now we have to work with the ship. We have to move it forward. And this is what I would like to talk about today. So as you all know, this year we celebrated 100 years of the McKim School of Business. Yeah? I think it was an amazing event. It also, again, inspired many of you. I got many email messages saying like they were looking forward to seeing what's going to happen in the next few years. So I noticed a lot of energy, a lot of vibe there. And we should be proud, because if you look at the things that we have, the strengths that we have as a school, I mean, there's so many things being here in the ecosystem of Northeastern University that allows the school to have certain assets, like our co-op, of course. Our bachelor degree is doing amazingly well, and I'll talk more about this later as well. We have an entrepreneurial attitude among our students, but also our faculty, our staff. People want to do things. People want to launch ideas. With students, I always refer to, we have smart grit. I want us to do this as well. I mean, we get things done, even if it's difficult at first sight. We're in an R1 university. Our enrollments go through the roof in such a way that we don't even know where to put the students anymore. Universities having that problem now. So we put them in Oakland, we put them in London. I'll come back to this as well. We have certain ideas on how to do this. But we should be very grateful as well, just looking at this situation. We're not a school in crisis, we're a school that's thriving, yeah? That is important. What I was personally impressed about was the diversity of the research themes when I was talking to the faculty. That was amazing how many different topics are being investigated, how many collaborations exist across the groups, within the university system. And you've also noticed I've invited here all the faculty and staff because I want to mention we're all doing a good job, yeah? For me, faculty and staff are equally important. We don't thrive if we don't have each other, okay? It's important to emphasize. Now, when looking at this, what do you do as a new leader? What do you do when you step into that situation? We have the ship here. It's doing well. What it is that you do as a leader? Well, the first thing is you listen. And the way my leadership point of view is, and I've told many of you this, is leadership is a two-way. You may remember that I said this in the many conversations I've had with you. You're part of my leadership. Without you, I don't succeed, and vice versa. So we work together. But I also see this in terms of like, what are our strengths and where do we want to go to? So I see leadership as an active leadership that drives change, because yes, we will have to make certain choices. You can't do everything. You can't spread yourself too thin, because there are many challenges out there within the university, but also in the business school landscape. I see it drives change, but in dialogue with tradition. So the things that are good, of course, we want to keep those. We want to build upon those. We want to see where we can extrapolate and see how we can make other things thrive. So that's the kind of leadership that I would like to see. Now, I'm going to share a few videos as well of some of our alums. So this is Rick LeBlanc, President and CEO at NELCO, and he's part of the Dean's Executive Committee. He's an alum himself from DMSB, and his two kids go to DMSB at the moment. So in my view, what he was talking about last week is really that kind of leadership that I'm trying to strive for. We have many good things. How do we take this further? So,
hello everyone, my name is Rick LeBlanc. I am a graduate of Northeastern University, the MBA program back in 1990. I'm also a very proud parent of two children that are part of the current McKim school, one in a third-year program and the other is fifth year. I also have had the opportunity to serve on the DEC board for 7 years now. And I have a perspective of the typical student that is here at Northeastern University that it's incredible. The grit, the ambition, the desire, the goals that the students here at McKim have are just absolutely incredible. And they are able to take that and they are able to leverage off of and take advantage of all that McKim has to offer. Between what happens inside of the classroom and those incredibly important co-op experiences. These students will do everything they can to succeed, but equally as important is they will do everything they can to help their peers, their friends, their colleagues be successful. They work with each other, they collaborate. I've seen this with the kids, I've seen this on the campus, I've seen it with my own children. It's absolutely incredible the teamwork that exists here. And they have got, the students here at McKim and Northeastern University, an incredible competitive advantage over the peers that they went to high school with. There are many great colleges and universities, but the competitive advantages that these kids have with the experience coming out of this school is second to none. And we're at a very, very exciting place here at McKim with Dean Cremer's vision and his strategy. The ability to leverage off of the successes that have occurred over this last 5 and 10 and 15 and 20 year period of time is incredible. It's going to be an even more exciting place to be, and can't wait to see the results over time. So thank you all very much.
We have grateful alumni. They're very successful alumni, so they're proud of their school just as we are as well. So where are we going next? When he's referring to, there's so much potential. In my view, we're a good school. We're doing very well. So our question that some of you have asked me, so how are you going to make the school great? And why is that a relevant question? So when I arrived here, and also before that, when I talked to many of you before I arrived and during the interviews, when the job was on the market to say so, I felt there's a lot of desire to do better, to do more. There's a lot of eagerness to launch ideas. But we also know, like, if everyone's launching ideas all the time and there's not really guidance or direction, sometimes it ends up in chaos or too many silos. So we got all the energy, we got all the community that we need. But at the same time, I also noticed there's some fear, there's some uncertainty about what is the future going to look like? What is it that we're going to do with that potential? How do we make it successful? And what I think we should be doing right now, because we have so much going on for us, is really finding a direction that we can grow and build a recognizable reputation as a business school that has impact. As you know, Northeastern University stands for impact. We just heard Rick say as well, we got our students, smart grid, we make things happen. So basically, a DMSB graduate should never go unnoticed. But what is DMSB really about? I think that is one of the goals that we should be striving for. So when we start the transformation journey, the question that I'm asking myself is, how can we show our recognizability? To say so, the DMSB stamp. When people know, look, this is DMSB. They hear about our research, they hear about our education, they hear about what we do. It has the DMSB stamp on it and creates impact. Well, we need to acquire an identity, in my view. And because that allows us to be consistent and value-driven in everything we do. It's recognizable. To deal with the challenges business schools deal with today. And I've talked to many of you about those challenges, such as we have to adjust to a changing education market. How are we going to do this with the Northeastern tradition behind us? What do we do that needs to be meaningful and relevant to our stakeholders? What is that? Can we be part as a business school of solving the bigger questions that society faces today by means of responsible business leadership? Asking those bigger questions. So it comes down to questions like, who is the MSB? Who is our audience? Who are we addressing? I've mentioned a few times to you, oh, we're number 3 or number 4 in town. I don't see that as relevant. MIT and Harvard are who they are. BU, it's fine, but they're not Northeastern University. It's a completely different ecosystem. Who are we and who is our audience? Who are we trying to impact? Where do we like to go with those people? Because trust me, and I'll come back to this in a minute, I've met so many of our alums who were ask me why I'm not at Northeastern. So I asked them, why are you not at Northeastern? Well, because no one asked me. And these are successful people. We don't know about them. But they keep hiring our co-ops. It's time to find out who they are and how they can help us. Okay, so what would be that identity? And you may say, well, we have an identity. Yes, I see a lot of things happen. And we have a name, the McKim School of Business. I love the more. They're all fine. But it's not an identity. We're grateful. We're grateful that they provided us with this funding. But it's not an identity. We're in Boston. Great, yet expensive city, as you all know. It's where the nation was born. That's all great. We have that history. But again, it's not an identity. So what my first task was, just want to give you some overview there, is I tried to use an inclusive and comprehensive approach by talking to all these stakeholders. Yes, I do talk to myself from time to time. But as you know, I spoke to faculty and staff. We had several meetings, spoke to the alumni, as you could see from the video. We look at the Northeastern University ecosystem. What is it that the ecosystem is about. What kind of opportunities does it provide for a school like us? What kind of opportunities does it provide to a business school? I don't need to tell any of you that a business school is different than most other colleges. The way a College of Science looks at our research, I'm not going to use those words. But we have a different position in university. Every business school has a different position than most colleges in the university. So we need to understand our ecosystem as well. And I brought in my own vision, and of course, the reasons why I was hired, as I explained to you. My background in humanics, empathy, leadership, international orientation. It attracted me to Northeastern and DMSB specifically because I saw the potential there. So when I put all of this information together, and that's what I've been doing the last 3-4 months, talking, listening, I came up with some ideas where I made an inference of this is what our identity could and should be probably, because this is what is expected from our stakeholders. This is what we can achieve in our ecosystem. And we have amazing visions there. So I want to show this video as well. And some of you may know him because he was your student. He's a recent graduate in 2009, Jasper Lau, founder and CEO of ERA. And he's an example of the amazing students and alumni we have. And we should listen to them.
Hi, my name is Jasper Lau. I'm the graduate of class of 2019 at the McKim School of Business at Northeastern University. I'm an American entrepreneur and investor. I started the world's first investment partnership backed by about 30 multi-billion-dollar family offices that represent $500 billion of enterprise value. Over the last 4 years, we invested over $200 million of capital across 24 leading technology businesses. I took a company public last year at a $1.3 billion valuation on the New York Stock Exchange and became one of the youngest board members of a US public company to take a company public. I am who I am because of Northeastern University. I am who I am because of the platform it provided for me to equip me with the tools necessary to go out in the real world and become a global responsible business leader. I'm so excited for Dean Cremer to come on board and help lead the business school. The common thread that ran through my career thus far is commitment, compassion, and care. That's what Dean Cremer represents. I'm thrilled to be supporting Dean Cremer's vision and goals for the business school. I'm so excited to partner with him as a member of the Dean's Executive Council, but also as a vice chair of the New York Executive Council for the McKim School of Business.
Do some people recognize him? Yeah? Okay. He told me he skipped a lot of classes, by the way. So he might be, you don't recognize him, but he's a recent graduate, very successful. And I can see we had our older alumni. They see certain values in our school and our university, but also the younger ones. There are a lot of things that are in common. So, okay. So the way I want it to work is looking at our ecosystems and all the stakeholders. Some of you, you've heard all those 5 groups. When we put this together, what is it that I like to see as a vision? What is it that I like to see as our values? And how I would like to work with all of you in achieving that greatness that we see we have the potential for. And I think our ecosystem, our stakeholders, they provide us with something that can empower us to cross borders in a variety of ways. I'll explain, but it makes us think across borders. It makes us work across borders. Also, when meeting them, our alums, our students are amazing. They inspire me. They should inspire us to really have a climate where we can learn to create impact. That should be something that we all share in whatever we do. Also, you see they have clear expectations. They want to be prepared for the future. They want to be successful in the future. They want to make that happen. And they expect us to bring leaders, business leaders who have a clear sense of self and identity, who know who they are, who are okay with being accountable and being responsible. So if you put this together, this is what I see the McKim School of Business should be. We educate our students. We work with our students to learn across borders so they can lead with impact. So let me clarify this a little bit. Let me analyze what it means. If we say the McKim School of Business, we learn across borders to lead with impact. Learn across borders. I think it's very clear that we all have this in our DNA here. First, there are 4 dimensions that I see. First one is, of course, if you look at our co-op, geographically, experiential. Experiential is key to Northeastern and to DMSB. Our students go to different countries. They're meeting people from different cultures. They're learning about different cultures. They learn across borders. But also, you know, we have to recruit our joint hires now. We're being stimulated to do interdisciplinary research. Also, when you meet different cultures, you need to take different perspectives. You need to learn from different fields. So a second way we learn across borders is really cross-discipline thinking. That's what should be core at everything we do as well. A third way we learn across borders is today we teach our students and we do research. We go out there to prepare for the future. I've said this several times. Today our educational challenge is not anymore to produce more knowledge and say this is how the future is going to look like. With the technology we've seen that things change more quickly than we've ever anticipated. So just having our models ready and teach those models and say this is how the future is going to look like, that's not the teaching model anymore. We need to prepare them for an uncertain situation, an uncertain future that they can deal with. So basically skill-based. But one thing we know for sure, the future is digital. Technology is involved. So technology is a conduit, but we're in the business of skills. So the present to the future is another border that we cross by learning. And finally, we're a business school, and I've mentioned this already a few times. In the Northeastern University ecosystem, the way we're looked at is as the gateway to business. And we have one foot in academia, and we should have a very strong foot in corporate as well. And that's what makes us unique. That's what is going to get us, like I said, the candy from the university, because that's what they're aiming for. I've told some of you as well, if College of Science may not look at us necessarily as the biggest researchers, but you will always see a sense of frustration at the end of their talks. It may be very fundamental what they're saying, but at the end of the day, they feel depressed because they can't create the impact business does, and we can. And that's what we should be striving for in our research, in our education, yeah? So those are 4 dimensions that I see that underlie DMSB. We learn across borders. And once our students go through this, but also us as faculty and staff, we can lead with impact. Because we will have business leaders who are self-aware, who got to know themselves, got to know their passions, got to know their focus, and they're willing to be accountable and responsible for it. So we got self-confident leaders, self-aware, responsible people who are able to have the skills to adapt, engage with our stakeholders, and engage in critical and big picture thinking. That's what we should be striving for. So I see DMSB really, again, we learn across borders to lead with impact. So in my view, our student-centeredness should be, we educate our students to be responsible business leaders of the world, able to work, navigate, and create, be the entrepreneur, be the innovator in a digital world, okay? Now, everything that I've been saying comes along with a certain list of values as well. So the values that I see from this integrative approach, from what our ecosystem, our stakeholders, and we ourselves have been doing, I see 6 big values, what we stand for. Inclusion, purpose, curiosity, global-mindedness, communication, and humanics. So I'll explain a little bit what I see each of them to be. So as you can see, inclusion and purpose, we need to be clear about our values. We need to be clear because it defines our purpose. And we want to be a purpose-driven business school because that allows us to act consistently, communicate consistently, and becomes recognizable, the DMSB stamp. But we also want to have responsible business leaders, like I said. Leaders who are aware of their environment and their own accountabilities. Curiosity and global-mindedness. I mean, global-mindedness speaks for itself. We work in our global network strategy. We are at an international university. We have many international students, and the experiential side of it is crucial to our existence. So we go out there, we cross our borders, because we're curious. We have that sense of curiosity. We want to explore, we want to learn, we want to experiment. So we communicate with the outside world. We communicate with the corporate world. We communicate with all our stakeholders. And finally, humanics, because our future is digital, and we need to learn to work, navigate, and create within it. Now, these are values that underlie really our student-centeredness, and what I think the MSB should stand for is leading across borders to lead with learning across borders to lead with impact. Now, this is not only simply ticking the box 6 values. I also believe that it can teach us something about how we should work. We should work together, should work with our students and all our other stakeholders. So when we talk about inclusion, what I would like to see is that we're a community that collaborates and leads by example. So I want people, our faculty, our staff, to be ambassadors of the values that they appreciate, the values that they want to see in their lives. Purpose. If we want to lead by example, we want our students to be responsible business leaders, we need to be responsible ourselves. We need to be value-driven. We need to make sure that these values come to life. Curiosity. In everything we do as staff and faculty, we create impact. We try to create impact in whatever we do and foster a growth mindset, which means we learn as well. Lifelong learning is not only for our clients, for our students, it's for ourselves as well. If we have that openness mindset, we're open to diversity of opinions, but we also grow and we will excel. Global mindedness. We think and work globally. We need to understand we go beyond Boston. I will come back on that one. Communication. We communicate with the corporate world and translate our research into action. So we have curiosity-driven research. Of course, we develop our theoretical models. Of course, we have our own papers that we build upon, but they need to be known because we need to be that gateway. And finally, we pursue tech-savviness. Yes, we bring in technology in many things that we do, how we work, how we teach, how we do research, but it's always with the goal of empowering humans, of empowering employees, of empowering customers. It's not about replacing. It's about being tech-savvy so that we can have an impact in the future. And we teach our students this, but we should be savvy enough ourselves. Okay, so that's how I see our values related to also how we will work with our students and with all our stakeholders. Now, it's easy for me to say this and say, like, we've analyzed this, we've listened to many people, but I want this truly to be faculty-led and staff, and in terms of our research, in terms of our education. So for that reason, I see building a culture as having people amongst yourself who say, like, look, I want to stand up for that value. Look, I want to do things that represent that value on a daily basis. So I was fortunate enough to find 4 faculty members who really had great ideas about putting some of these values together. In a way, you could say they're married to that value because they appreciate it. And they want to be there for you, to remind you of this as well. So we got Marla, who's our diversity leader, and much more will happen there. We will build our DEI committee as well. We will see that it's in every layer of whatever we do. Chris Riedel, he will be the ambassador of humanics, where we bring in technology so that basically we can work as teams, and technology makes us better at it. We collaborate in better ways. Ruth Aguilera, she wants to see impact. This is what she loves in her own research. She wants you to see, okay, how can we achieve this? How can we do cross-border thinking? Stand for that value. And finally, Jay Narayanan, one of our newest faculty members. He loves purpose. What drives you in life? So what we'll be focusing on, I've been even toying with the idea of we will have sessions of mindfulness even from time to time for our faculty and staff. But that we have you may have seen this when I was announced, I strive for a healthy work-life balance. And our purpose should be to be the best version of ourselves that we can be by creating that value that I'm pointing out here. So these are things that as a dean, I want to stimulate. And I want our faculty to be leading in this, and you will get my support there. These are also the things that I want to reward here in the future, that kind of behavior, that kind of citizenship, to represent those values in everything you do. So we built this identity together, but they're not the only champions of those values. I want everyone to be the champions. They're there to help me to work together with you so that it's faculty-led. Of course, for our staff, I will come back to that. will also have different initiatives. But this is when it comes down to research and education. So, having arrived at where I am after 4 months, theme is B. We learn across borders to lead with impact, our values. I want to share a few initiatives that we've been trying to work on in these last few months so that you can see, okay, this is where I would like to go to and what I think the school needs and how it aligns with our values and strategies. So one thing I wanted to point out was, how do we prepare? How do we adapt to the future? Our value of humanics, working in a digital world. Now, for some of you, it may be a surprise. For some of you, it will not be a surprise. But when I arrived, I'm pretty data-driven. So evidence-based in my management and everything. But it was very difficult to find all the right data. And they're hidden in all kind of corners in the school. And like I said, we have a lot of entrepreneurship. But if it's silos, it's not easy to get those together. So when then the president asked me, oh, represent the school quickly and say the data, what data enrollment is, or that, okay. So we need to become better at it, university as well, but we definitely need to get better at data management. So one of the initiatives that I want to do is we will revamp, and we will tell you more about this, the Dean's Office, in a way that we will communicate in a consistent way with the clear values, with clear portals where to submit things. We will remind you of when you need to submit things, but I want to be more consistent and transparent in that communication. That's one thing. That requires good data management. The second thing is, for our staff, next year in 2024, we'll organize for about 100 staff members a workshop on data management. And instead of going outside and having our external consultants, and I pay them a lot, we have a lot of knowledge here. Koen Pauwels directing our data initiative. So the data initiative will collaborate with us to train our staff in data management, data awareness. This is a collaborative way of preparing ourselves for the future. We'll also hire an assistant dean of data management and analytics. Again, we really need to get all the data together so that they become transparent. Because what doesn't happen at the moment is really, if we want to know something, we only see part of the story. We want to see the whole story. Later on this month, I will also email all of you to get your help in terms of getting more data on our alums. As you know, university is not always so kind to provide us with all the data. So, but we, like I said, have a lot of potential. We can create our own data sets here. So that's why we need someone who really can guide us. And a final thing, yeah, now everyone, what's going to happen here? So we're in the middle of our accreditation, and this has been one point of criticism, that we don't assess very well our goals. If we don't assess them, it means we don't have the data, we don't communicate amongst each other, and that hurts us. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure this year we will do well, but they keep asking. They need more clarity, and especially when we're going to go into the global network, things are going to become a little bit more muddy even, because most business schools don't have that system. So we need to be there in terms of our assessments, in terms of our data. So this is just one example where we say, like, look, we endorse the value and we live by it. Another one is lifelong learning. So one strategy that I would like to do is promote our executive education, that there's more opportunities. I said we live in Boston, a very beautiful yet expensive city. I see our outreach to corporate and our faculty being able to put their own thought leadership out there as a must. And you can earn an extra buck because it is an expensive city, but especially so because I want our knowledge to be out there. Now, it's not only executive teaching, it really starts early. When I opened the academic year this year for our undergrads, I said, welcome to the first day of lifelong learning, and we hope you will be here for a very long time. Not only your bachelor degree, but you will be coming back. Yeah? Your first day of undergrad starts here as lifelong learning. I want that mentality. And how will we do this? Because, yeah, how can we expand? There's a shortage of space everywhere here, as you know. We have problems organizing research conferences. The deans just wrote a letter to the provost and to the president saying they need to solve this because the only solution so far they've had was increasing the prices of renting the rooms and the catering. Yeah, that's not going to help us, is it? So how can we deal with this? Well, One way of putting our lifelong learning out there will be the strategy we develop for a global network. So we will take this as a part of it, as a big part of it. Now, the second thing, and I've been working very hard until Thursday to be able to confirm this, is I got some great news. So in addition to the renovation that I negotiated with the provost, since Thursday, we'll be having, DMSB will be expanding downtown at the Broad Street campus in the financial center. DMSB will have its own executive education center. So we will have that room. 2 lecture halls. So this means we can extend. We've been customizing a lot of programs. We can start working on open programs. So I'm looking at our centers. I'm looking at our faculty who know they have thought leadership here. Rise, because I want to have programs for yourself, for our outreach, and for our reputation. I like it that it's in the financial center because we can go global and international as well. We're closer to the airport, and it's on the 3rd floor of the Hilton. So I hope that you're just as happy as I am about it. Once we open it, we'll have a reception. Then we can really celebrate. But I feel it's not bad. We have a renovation, and we're expanding. We're achieving things, okay? So lifelong learning, the values of curiosity, communication, and interdisciplinary thinking. Our global strategy, I've been referring to it. We're international. We're focused on the world. We want our leaders to be responsible within that context. So we need to have a strategic plan. So far, as most of you know, the university has been pressing us because they've been driving a lot of colleges already in the network. And there are reasons for this, because not every student can be here the first year. Some areas are more entrepreneurial, some areas provide opportunities, so we want to be there as well. But I just don't want to jump just in every campus simply because we have to. So my idea is really about, we'll get a task force together, but we came up with some principles already at the Dean's Cabinet. So rather than just saying we need to be at every campus, it needs to make sense in the identity that we are. I've been stressing consistency. Consistency in what we do, in how we communicate. That means, yes, we need to scan these campuses because it's truly my belief that maybe in the next 10, 15 years, some campuses will really glorify, will come up there and will provide value. Other campuses, not necessarily so. So we need to be prepared for that. So some of the principles that I would like to see is once we go to a campus, we go full-blown, meaning DMSB is there as DMSB, okay? Because DMSB Boston only, that doesn't exist in the future anymore. It's going to be DMSB wherever we are in those campuses. Just to give you an example, in Oakland, some of you may know, we put our students there in the first year, and we promise them they can come back in the second year to Boston because they all want to be in Boston. Now, we have our bachelor degrees there. We want them to stay longer. We want to make sure that they stay there and see the value of being in Oakland. There's certain things we can't change. Like the service they get here from the university in Boston, we can't replicate that. We can't pay for that. The university has to do this. But there's a lot of things we can do. So right now we have 5 non-tenure track faculty. So our idea is to put a few tenure track faculty there as well. And this may be the beginning, what the provost expected. At one point, yes, our headquarters may be in Boston, but DMSB is everywhere, and faculty may be living somewhere else and doing their job full-time as researchers and educators. So probably in Oakland, we'll also put an assistant dean there because we need to have communication. And once that is happening, we want to be unique there. We don't want to have simply copy-paste of the courses here because, of course, they want to come back to Boston only. But we're in California. There's just so many things happening there. So many of our faculty have connections with the best schools in California. Why can't we collaborate and create something that students will say, hey, you know, there are 4 courses there you can't get anywhere else in DMSB. I want to be there. So that's our full-blown presence there. That's what we need to strive for. Obviously, you can't do this right away with 13 campuses. That's why I'm saying we make the decision where we want to be and for what reason, okay? So it's all about the fit, that we can increase attractiveness and uniqueness. Now, of course, we also have certain ambitions there. So I just want to share, this is early stages, but we're working on 2 programs, and we'll put the work groups together very soon, and we'll drive it in the faculty, through the faculty and the college. There's two big programs that I really would like to achieve. And I know I'm not the only one. All three, the president, chancellor, and provost, have emphasized they want to see this happen. Because there are always two R's. One is revenue. That's top of the university's mind. Second one is R of reputation. That's what I want for our school. So one of the things we're doing now is, with a former donation of 5 million we have to work with, we would like to build an engineering MBA. Two colleges working together within the Northeastern system. Of course, it's promoted and supported by the university. But I think it's also important because if you look at the leadership of most technology companies today, they're engineers. In the next 10, 15 years, most companies will have those. They want to be entrepreneurs. They want to understand business. It is a gold mine for us. I'll talk more about entrepreneurship later, but it's going to be one of our main focus. Because that's where, when I said a College of Science professor says, I'm frustrated because they can't be that entrepreneur that creates impact. We can. The second program is something that's close to my heart, is I really would like to build a STEMBA. STEM with an executive MBA, STEMBA. And we found a partner, ETH Zurich. Most of you will probably know it. It's a top 10 university in the world. It's the direct competitor of MIT. And it would be my dream to bring that competitor to their doorstep because they're working with us. So this will be a degree where we revive the EMBA, but based on experience. We will use our campuses, Seattle, Boston, London, and Zurich for deep tech. It will be a unique program. And I hope that I can have your support as well, that we can make these programs happen. Because this is reputation, especially the president is sitting on that one. And I think it will put our school there in the hierarchy where I believe it should be in Northeastern and in Boston. Look, the president told me he wants us to be the third flagship after entrepreneurship and computer science. And I think those are the things, when we are very consistent in this, that we can achieve. The things that they support us in, we should be doing it our way. Yeah? Now, another example of what we've been doing is with the corporate outreach. I've been telling you the value of communication. We need to be there. We need to put our research out there. Ruud will be doing as well with impact. We cross-border thinking. How do we get out there? Well, one thing I've done is we're in the process of creating an executive fellowship program. We have several former executives who walk around. Some get stipends, and I don't know what they're doing. Some do something that we know. But I want to put them there because they want to reach out to faculty, and faculty don't know them. We want to have a platform. They can be guest lecturers. They can help you to say, like, okay, you want to do research? I'm interested in this. So can I help you to give access? Of course, they'll be teaching sometimes in our degree programs as well, in our executive education, and be awarded accordingly. But it's all about the visibility and transparency that I promised you, that we know we have that asset. This goes back to our alumni as well. Related to this, we want to create a DMSB day. If we talk about impact, I want to see impact. I want to see impact in terms of the impact that makes us proud, that identifies new research directions, but also that identifies teams that we can educate, have our thought leadership about. So the idea is there that we will have faculty presenting research as if you're a startup business. And we'll invite our corporations, our executives that we know, like Rick, like Jasper, to serve as potential investors with that mindset. I think that will help us to be out there, work together with them, but also see what ideas are valued. What ideas are valued by the corporate business? What ideas are very fundamental and need to be treated as fundamental, and what ideas need to be supported as being more relevant to having immediate impact? All our research is good. Like I said, we have a diversity of research teams, but we want to keep as close to what's happening in the business world to say, like, look, to our students, we know that this is our research, this is becoming important with immediate impact. This is important to know in the future. These things can help us. And finally, we're building, and some of you may have seen, I put this out this weekend, DMSB Executive Leadership Council. So 2 weeks ago, with our Dean of Development, Julianne, we built the first Executive Leadership Council in New York. So what the executive leadership councils are about is they bring our alumni together in different cities across the US. I've told you earlier, I've been talking to a lot of them, and they say, remember the question? Why aren't we there? Because we don't reach out to them. We don't know, and they're successful, but we don't even know. So New York was the first one. It was amazing. It was amazing the energy that was there. It was amazing how people enjoyed that we're bringing a community to them, that they feel part of a community. So we want to do the same thing at the campuses where we're going to go and be there full-blown as DMSB, because we need our co-ops. So in California, in London, hopefully, those are two big campuses we want to focus on anyway. We will have those executive leadership councils as well. Once they're established, I invite you to come over, give a talk about your research, and get to know those communities. Now, final bit before I shut up is I've been emphasizing throughout the whole journey, we participate in solving bigger questions through our responsible leadership. We want to see our students to be responsible leaders in the bigger world. The way I look at this is, in our student-centeredness, we have a holistic approach. You may have seen when I say like people lead to have impact, it's because they know themselves. They're willing to be accountable for the values that they stand for. So that's a pretty holistic approach. So what I would like to see over time, but again, I need all your help there, and how we're going to do this is ethical courses, governance, taking responsibility, building trust as a leader in whatever we do in terms of business needs to be part of our core curriculum at every level. It needs to be something that they're proud of, but that they also stand for. Now, one initiative that we've taken is, and we're putting a work group together, so you'll be invited. I mean, we'll reach out to have numbers of people as well in there, is to have a management oath. I would like our students to graduate and pledge. They must see it as a journey of development, and at the end, they pledge to that development. Now, there are, of course, a few practical reasons as well why I would like to see this oath. One is to have commitment from alumni. When they pledge, that they commit. This is important for our rankings because most of our alumni don't even fill out our surveys. So we can actually link that to this. And this goes back to two other small ambitions I have. We're number 15 in our bachelor in the poets and quants ranking. I've looked at what is missing, what are students saying is missing. And there's a few things there that I'm willing to put money behind to fix that, and that we're top 10, because I think that will change our school if we can say that. The second thing is we are number 78 on the global MBA Financial Times ranking. And again, it's the same issues as with the poets and quants, and we can manage that as well. We can easily become top 50. So we need that commitment from alumni, so the management oath can help. The EI will be part of it, of course, because we want to see it throughout our curriculum. And they pledge to this as well because they'll be that kind of leader. They'll be responsible leaders. And because they're accountable, we can trust them to take care of their stakeholders. So our students, like I said, we can be proud of it. We were proud of it in the past, but I'm sure we can be proud of it in the future as well if we can follow this path. Because they will not disappoint us. They're amazing. And I think it's because we do an amazing job. And I think we can do even better, okay? So thank you for that. Now, I want to talk to all of you on this, but as you've seen, we're time-wise, but also the room itself doesn't allow this for everyone with questions. So what we've done instead, and we've sent that email around as well, for all the faculty here, so I will visit each academic group for a lunch meeting. I've emailed all the group chairs, so we can talk in an informal way, no formal at all, just in an informal way over lunch about what I've been talking about. Starting tomorrow, I think with the accounting group. Also, I'll ask each group chair just to present for 5 minutes what you think your group stands for, what your strengths are, so that we can integrate this, yeah? I think that's a much more constructive way, and we have much more time then, because now it's like 5 minutes, and who wants to ask a question, okay? For the staff, we organize one big staff meeting for all of you as well. You can ask questions there as well. We'll discuss. But for now, to have a soft landing, and I'll be walking around so you can already target me, is we have a reception, and there was a reason why we liked the name tags, because we have faculty and staff together here, mingle, get to know each other, start talking, be prepared when I visit, okay? That's okay? All right, so thank you for listening.